Hello and welcome to the mykeadelic channel. I'm your host, Mike, aka mykeadelic. Thanks for joining us on this fine, maybe Friday. Today we're going to be talking about Babylon. I'm going to try to keep this brief because I want to film a couple other videos right now. So without further ado, Babylon. Let's talk about it. Babylon is a 2022 American epic period comedy drama film written and directed by Damien Chazelle, the La La Land Whiplash guy. It features an ensemble cast including Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, Diego Calva, Gene Smart, It takes place in the 1920s during the transition from silent films to sound films. And yeah, personally, I really enjoyed it. It is not for everybody. I'll say that right off the bat. I'm going to keep this mostly spoiler free, so I'll just kind of get into my general thoughts. What did I think about Babylon? Well, anyone who's seen the movie will tell you that it's a bit messy, but I'm no stranger to a mess, so I quite enjoyed it. I'm able to kind of organize the mess in my mind and appreciate the chaos and kind of sift out the important bits. There was a lot of chaos. There was a lot of drugs, a lot of sex, a lot of partying, everything but rock and roll. I was just watching the Deep Focus Lens review on this, and she was talking about how there was like an interview on Dick Cavett, I think, in the 60s with Janis Joplin and Gloria Swanson, which is a crazy combination. But Gloria Swanson was saying, like, you had no idea what it was like in the 20s, and Janis Joplin's like, oh, yeah, come on. But, I mean, the 20s were crazy. The laws were different. The movies were different. Yeah, there's a lot to get into. One time I was in an antique store and I was flipping through a copy I found of Hollywood Babylon, the Kenneth Anger book, and it had me really thinking because I went to film school and they kind of gloss over the early days, so you have a kind of general idea of what's happening, but the total debauchery and wildness is something that is really interesting to focus on. So I really appreciated the film taking place during that time and how it almost sort of mirrored modern days with the kind of technology changing and the industry constantly changing and this almost aging out or passing of the torch or Star is Born kind of thing. Obviously, there's a lot of cliches. You have the writer, you have the main character who's like this aspiring director, you have Margot Robbie, this rising star, and Brad Pitt, this like kind of has done it all already sort of star. I guess falling star would be the word. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. The message too, which was pretty succinctly put by this may be a quote from the movie. Not sure. I decided to see the film because Kylie, Haunted Hippie, had seen it, and from her description, basically something along the lines of, in this industry, you put in everything. People destroy themselves and do all these debaucherous things and dedicate their lives to the art. And even on like a joke level, there's people literally dying for their art, and it's like not a big deal. And the laws were different then, and people would die on set, and it would not be a thing. There wasn't insurance. This was in the defocus lens thing. Yeah, the idea of sacrificing yourself for your art or putting everything into something, and the industry using people or wringing your value out and then casting you aside once they've squeezed every bit of use out of you is like a tragedy, but at the same time there's these amazing works of art that are created that are eternal, that are giving immortality essentially to the people involved. And so to be a part of that is to be a part of this sort of cultural conversation, which, not to spoil anything, but the ending is this sort of psychedelic situation which ties in the history of cinema in a way I really liked. It was no rod describing a cone, but I appreciated the experimental ending. I'll talk about my last thoughts. Hang on, I'm gonna burp. Okay, so the runtime's obviously long, but the last movie I had seen in theaters right before this was Avatar: Way of Water, and this was really resonating with me in a way that Avatar didn't, because I really like the history. There was obviously certain modern things with the dialogue and things, and kind of like the lead, this director character was almost not as memorable as maybe he could have been. I don't know if it's a writing thing or a performance thing, but I mean, like, Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie are just like the movie. And this musician dude too had this really crazy arc that got very uncomfortable, but I was like, but this is art, it's supposed to challenge your things. But yeah, had a lot of thoughts about that. But again, it's like, could have been a bigger part or something. I guess it did all kind of like gel together. I mean, it said a lot. It said a lot about the industry, and a lot of good and a lot of bad. It was kind of unflinching. It's not at all what I expected from La La Land, dude. I guess Whiplash gets pretty intense, but nothing like that. Oh, I really appreciated the cutting of the music, how all the instruments and everything were cut perfectly. Nothing was out of sync as a musician. That was really enjoyable. Bum, bum, bum. I don't know. I might be forgetting something, but I'm getting a little tired and I kind of want to wrap this up. So let me know your thoughts. Have you seen Babylon? Do you want to see Babylon? Were you grossed out in the first 10 minutes and then you're like, not for me? I really enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts. Like, comment, subscribe. Plenty other videos here on the mykeadelic channel. Just recently released a experimental short film as well as a cover of an LCD sound system song from White Noise, which I'm going to have a review of as well. And that's about it. Thanks for watching. Love ya. Bye. Talk to you later, Mom.